Hey guys, my name is John Argyos. For those who do not know me, I am a Oceania player for the Dragon Ball Super card game, and I will be making my first deck profile on the Checkmate Fusion team here today, which I'm pretty excited to be a part of. I really am excited to genuinely work with some world-class players, which yeah, I've had this opportunity once before when I was on PPG for a little bit, and now I'm excited to be involved in another world-class team. And yeah, really excited to work with people such as Jared Lopez, the current world champion Michael Legends Carrick, and so many more amazing, talented players. So it's going to be pretty exciting, But yeah. So, for those of you who do not know, we had the first regional in OCE this weekend, and I was able to take it out using Son Goku Universe 7 once again. Regardless, yeah, I'll try and make this deck profile short and sweet, just because I think a lot of people kind of sick of this deck a little bit, because the deck is very oppressive despite the recent ban lists. But yeah, I personally think this is still one of, if not the best game in the deck in the game. It just does so much, and actually got heaps of brand new cards, which we'll go over in a bit more detail once we get once we get started. And but yeah, those of you guys don't know what the leader does. The weakened side is Universe 7. When you place basically the whole gimmick of this deck is that anytime you combo a Universe 7 card, it'll always go into your Z energy. And every time on both players' turns, when you combo a Yellow U7 card for the first time, you get to draw a card. The way they've kind of balanced your Z energy, like infinite Z energy, is that you cannot play Z battle cards. But now with the introduction of Z unisons, you actually kind of feel that a little bit less, which is quite nice. And then your awakening condition is when you're at when you have 2 or more energy and at least 3 Z energy, you can awaken. Against blue, this is kind of frustrating against blue, because a lot of the time what will happen is that they will use an energy, play peel off Mai, and they'll use that to reduce your Z energy. What I've started doing is that as soon as my opponent plays the first peel off Mai, like if I'm attacking, they do that, I just combo 4 cards out of my hand. And just to get to my 3Z energy here, like you kind of just have to cop that L of inefficiently comboing on the first swing, because you just need to get to your awakened side to start generating value. Yeah, basically the first chunk of text on the awakened leader is the exact same. I don't know why I kept flipping. But then you get this activate main where you can place one of your Z energy in your drop area, and then you switch Yellow Son Goku, including your leader, to rest mode. Then you get to draw a card and switch one of your opponent's battle cards to rest mode. You literally want to awaken to get access to this ability, because this enables a lot of play lines that you can do. So yeah, that's the main gist of it. So still the best 2 cards in the deck. I'll just drag this over here, put them next to each other. The 6-drop Goku and the 4-drop Goku. Now the 4-drop Goku technically got this card technically got nerfed because they limited the Z extra to 1. But this card's still phenomenal. You play it, you draw a card, you tap something, ignoring barrier, and then if you switch it to rest mode with your leader skill, you get to draw. You get to force your opponent to put a card from the hand into their life, and then you just choose a random one of the cards in their life and put it in the Z energy. So this is technically. This card is essentially uninteractable hand destruction in a yellow deck, which is just phenomenal, and also is able to switch barrier cards to the rest mode, which then enables your 6-drop Goku here, which, yeah, like, this card's still insane. This is your win condition. You play this for 1, and, like, you clear something ignoring barrier, then you maybe win the game. Like, this card's still over the top. Being able to attack an indefinite amount of times is just huge. Like, the only downside of this card is that this is usually your last play for the turn, because it locks you out of non-Universe 7 plays, which we actually have a couple now in the deck, specifically like overwhelms and whatnot. But yeah, the deck with our Secret Rare of Choice and some other cards, it kind of creates a lot of guarantee win combos against every color besides blue, which is just like, yeah, this card's very crazy. Red Hair Goku, I play him, yeah. Basically, all these U7 cards that you're playing here, these 6 cards, I think you have to play. You have to play these as 4-ofs, because they're just so good. These are the best Yellow U7 cards in the entire deck. And then the rest of them, you can kind of choose how many ratios. But you also probably need at least 317. But yeah, the God Goku form, you can play him from your Z energy if you have. I think it's if you have 2 or more Z energy. If you have 3 or more Z energy, sorry, you can play him from your Z energy. And simply, he comes in his removal, like on-demand removal, is huge as well. And he also acts as a mini deadly defender. Like, while he's in rest mode, your opponent can't attack your leader cards with battle cards, so that's very nice. Like, and 15k is like the fact that this is a Goku card as well, like, when I go over my Z deck, it's very relevant. But yeah, very good. 1 energy removal. I play this most turns to kill, just to clear my opponent's board. It's like, yeah. The deck has so much spot removal that, yeah, you don't have to swing to the battle card, so you can constantly pressure leader with, these, all your cards. Gohan Piccolo, your Cantress of the deck, and then all these cards here, the U7, like when they get Z charge, you get to draw an additional card to keep your, hand size up. 18 is very good. The 18 essentially turns any card in your hand on defense to a 10k. Because you just discard a card and combo 2 5ks from the drop. Very relevant, because if you have a Unison in play, you can actually use this to defend your Unison, which is quite nice. 17 is arguably the least relevant of the bunch, but it's actually very good into black. If your leader card is yellow, if you have 7 Z energy, what did I say? 6 Z energy, sorry. It gets its cost reduced by 2, and then it's a counterplay. So if your opponent plays, let's just say now, a perfect example, I played against the new SS4 Vegito deck in the final round, and he played it very well. I was able to use this Android 17 to switch the Vegito Union Potara card, the SS4 Union Potara card, to rest mode before it could attack, and just like, yeah, just acted as another layer of defense, which felt very good. 3 Vegeta. I see a lot of lists running only 2 of this card. I don't understand why. Like, the card is just so good. The fact that it's first of all, it's a 1 energy dual attack, which is huge. This is like this is kind of like the deck's Unison removal, because this deck kind of actually struggles to handle Unison sometimes. So being able to tap this for 1 and swing to a Unison twice to take 2 markers off is huge. And on top of that as well, when it gets Z charge, it switch something to rest mode, so you can tap annoying blockers or token negates and whatnot. And even on the swing as well, it gets that auto for limit 1. So yeah, I think I think these two, I do agree that these are the 2 worst U7 cards, but I think that you still need them as 3-ofs. I think this is like correct. Then my 1-of super spicy tech is Master Roshi, just a simple negate. I'm not running the blue hair Goku in my deck, which is essentially the same as this card, but instead of red hair, he's got blue hair. The main reason being is that I don't actually like the blue hair Goku card that much. Like, I was running it as a 1-of or a 12, but I never really found myself wanting to go into it most of the time. The only time I wanted to go into it is if they had Margin Buu Unison on board against blue. But other than that, I never really wanted to use the card. I'd rather do something else. And I noticed that my deck actually lacks a lot of negates. I only have the 2 time magic, so I wanted just an additional negate, and I thought, well, might as well also have the U7 tag so I can combo it off. For the super combo, just the red U7 Goku. It's the best super combo for the deck, no questions asked. Then you have Margin Vegeta. This is also a mandatory 4-of. At worst, this card is a 1 energy draw card, and at best, it's swinging at your opponent's leader for like 35k double strike and killing a 5-drop. Card's phenomenal. Also, again, like I was saying with this blue Vegeta here, it's also acts as our Unison removal. Like, you swing to a Unison, if they don't negate, take 2 markers off. Amazing. Duo, you have to run this card. It's so broken. If this card wasn't limited to 1, I'd definitely be playing at least 3 in my deck. Probably, let's be real, probably 4. The card's just insane. Secret ID Marseille, just our overarm of choice. We struggle a little bit with wide boards, so why not let's just clear some wide boards. Then yeah, that's generally most of the old stuff of the deck. So some of the new cards we got 2 new tournament promos being, the first one being this Vegeta here. Pure Blood Sparking. This card's insane. So you can play this card if your leader is either a red card or has the Universe trait. We fall into the second category here. We are indeed a Universe leader. And it has dual attack. And what this card does is that on play and on attack, it reduces the power of a card by 20,000. And then on top of that as well, if you reduce a card to 0 power, you actually also gain double strike. So 9 times out of 10, this card is swinging for 30k double strike twice in a turn. And it's also removing 1 big threat and 1 little threat. This card is absolutely insane against Gogeta. So Gogeta now, after the changes of the ban list, a lot of the ways that you would win against Gogeta, you would use cool counter plus bursting rage, as well as the burn, so it just killed them from 2, and there's literally nothing they could do about it. But now that's not a thing anymore. We have to kill them like properly, and the deck just cannot deal with 8-drop Gogeta, or couldn't anymore. But the fact that the lingering effect of Gogeta makes it so you can it lives, right? Like, you can blank its skills. We can't blank the 8-drop Gogeta skills with Door and remove it. So the fact that this reduces it to 0, like it's a red mechanic, and reduces it to 0 means we get around that that downside, and it feels amazing. Granted, this card doesn't have Deflect and also it costs 3. I thought I would enjoy it against, like, much more against other decks, but I think I would move this card to the sideboard specifically for the Gogeta matchup. I think it's phenomenal there. Next, this card actually overperformed so much. Great Ape Golden Baby. This card is just insane. So, again, it costs 2 to play, and you have to have 3 yellow energy. But when you play this card, you choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards, and you just negate their skills. And that's just insane. It's like, it's actually duo, but hits 2 cards. Granted, it doesn't remove the cards, but here's the thing. Negate their skills for the turn, and your opponent can't attack with skillless cards until the next turn. So the cards stay vanillas for the rest of your turn and your opponent's turn. This skill negation is so relevant in the current meta. There's so many cards with decent skills. Like green, for example, has like the new 8-drop Goku that if you kill it, you have to discard 3 cards. I'm good. I'd rather just blanket skills and kill it. Blockers are like running around token negates. Like, yeah, this card is just actually insane. It's also double strike as well. And again, like any big-ish number in this deck, you gotta add another 10,000 power to. So this is swinging for, in this deck, it's swinging for 35,000. It's huge. I do have a third one copy of this in the sideboard. I don't think I'd run 4 of this because it costs 2 energy, but I'll definitely run 3 in the main. The card just overperformed. Like the fact that even if you aren't able to remove the card's skills, if you aren't able to remove the cards you blank their skills, they can't attack is insane. And if your opponent tries to play something on their turn and you have another way to blank its skills, then it can't attack because of this lingering effect. This card's like, yeah, this card's crazy. Next we have Yellow Sin. I actually said in my previous deck profile of U7 that this is arguably my least favorite card in the deck, and that actually kind of holds true. I didn't really find myself going into this card too much over the weekend, except for against, I think, Gogeta was the deck I was worried about the most. I feel bad for Jun because everyone's trying to beat him at this event instead of me, which is pretty funny. But yeah, this card's decent into non-Tapion blue decks because it's very hard for them to remove. But then for the most part, against every other color, it's good in the mirror match as well because it kind of helps check the 6-drop, but even then it gets removed very easily. But it gets removed by the 6-drop. You literally play this to blank the 6-drop skill so you don't die to it. But yeah, I think I prefer playing Baby over this card because Baby lets me be a bit more proactive where this is reactive. It kind of just depends. This card should still exist in your deck list, but it's not as good. Now, no, I know some people are saying, doesn't this card just solo beat Red? Not anymore. The Red Z Unison in that that Red got the God Goku is actually broken. That thing comes out for 4 energy and just every turn will kill something. Will kill this. And there's nothing this card can do about it, so I think this card is less good, but in the matchups it's good in, it's like solid, but yeah, I don't think you remove this card from your deck. 2-time magic, yeah, I think it's just the primary yellow negate. Yeah, I think this card's very good. It hits a lot of annoying things, and yeah, I think 12 is fine. Bardock, Jesus Christ. Shout out to Philip Tarpini. I remember when I spoke to him at Worlds, he showed me this card, and I was like, because I asked him when is his card coming out, and he showed this to me saying it was coming out in the next set. I was like, dude, this card is actually insane. So for those of you who do not know what this card does, it's a counter attack. It doesn't negate the attack and it's limit 1, so some people might be thinking that's not good. Then you read the next effect here. If it's your opponent's turn, or if your leader is if you're a yellow leader or Bardock's crew leader, reduce the cost of this card by 3 yellow. So that means you're playing this for 1 of any color energy. So this card will probably get exploited in. This card is still yet to be exploited. Is kind of what I'm trying to say. Like I think it's broken. Especially in this deck, but there's other decks that there's some creative things you can do with this card initially off that. But the big thing about this card is that when this card is played, your opponent can't attack with cards unless they place 1 of their cards in rest mode in the owner's drop. That is broken. That is so good. Like, let's just say now, this is essentially dormant potential, but on crack. Your opponent swings with a leader, for example, you play this. Alright, sure, they're still common with a leader, but if they want to attack with any other card for the rest of the turn, they have to place a card that most likely they don't have a card in rest mode. And then they have to play something in rest mode in the drop barrier. So, realistically speaking, if they don't have any, if they don't swing with a battle card first, when you resolve this, your opponent, if they want to extend their turn, has to sack energy most likely. This card's just ridiculous. And the thing is that as well, the wording on this card's very important because it says it has to be placed in the opponent in your drop area. So that means you actually can't choose a Z Unison as a Z battle card as part of the cost, or a card that would get removed from your battle area by one of those skills. So the card's ridiculous. Like, yeah, this card fixed the biggest weakness of U7, which was just wide aggro. Because Flying Nimbus is okay, but this card is just like, yeah, this card is just the best defensive yellow tool. I think this is the easiest 4 of ever. Like, I think U7 would be much worse if this wasn't a card. And I also would have most likely lost against my opponent who was playing SS4 Vegito if I didn't just slam this 3 turns in a row. I was like, okay. Like, this card's just insane. And the fact that in this deck too, you still get to your defensive combo step is irrelevant as well, because you get to proc your leader and start, like, you keep on cycling through your deck. Lastly, the last effect is that if it's your turn, when this card switches to rest mode, you draw a card and switch back to active mode, right? I don't have any cards in the deck. You can't tap your leader if this is not a Goku. I don't have any cards in the deck that allow me to do that currently. Most likely I'll be adding Unison of Fury to this, and then you can do that too. But if that's the case, like, you're gonna deck out. So I wouldn't worry about that last skill too much in this deck, but it is nice. Then lastly, the last 3 cards in the main board we have Hunter the Demon God, Absolute Annihilator, and Purunga as the secret rare of choice. Hunter the Demon God is good, is very good. Like, these 3 cards kind of just create instant win scenarios. So Absolute Defender makes it so your opponent has to pay 1 energy for all the energy for all the extra cards. If they're tapped out, they can't use any extra cards, including some SCRs, you know. So the cards are very good for closing out a game. This is just the new cooler counter for the deck. Hunter the Demon God is the same thing. If they're tapped out, they're using 1 cost extra card again. Counter, very relevant. And Purunga, this card's broken. This card has 3 insane effects. You play it for 2, then you can do limit 3, so you can do this 3 times. So you either get to choose one of your opponent's cards and switch to rest mode. You either get to wipe the board except for one of your opponent's cards and one of your cards ignoring barrier. And then the last effect is that you can draw a card and make your opponent discard a card. So that's crazy. So majority of the time, you don't really do this board wipe effect unless you're very behind, but you mainly use the first 2 effects, right? But like, you can do one of each really. You can tap your opponent out, you can wipe the board, and then you can make them draw a card and pitch a card, right? So, yeah, the card just is so versatile in so many different situations. Granted, it's not an SCR that will win the game on its own, but the Universe 7 Goku deck has this, and that will win you the game on its own. So the fact that Purunga complements this card so nicely is huge. Like, being able for 3 energy, you can play Purunga, tap your opponent out, and make them discard cards, as well as refilling your hand as well, and then also combining it with Son Goku for 1. Like, that is a 3 energy play. Alright, let's say we have 1 more energy. We can use Hunter the Demon God. It's like, Jesus, man. This combo is too ridiculous. Like, against pretty much, like, against every deck in the game. Like, the only colors that don't just auto lose to this 3-card combo is blue and green. Because green can use, like, it's blue, green, and then any bursting rage deck, right? To lose to this 3-card combo. Like, every deck just loses to this combo, to be completely honest, unless their board state's, like, well equipped. And then if that's the part of the reason with Absolute Annihilator. Like, if you go, this is a 6-card combo now, and if your opponent's tapped out, I just can't see them living based on their board state, except for, like, maybe blue. But, like, green's not living, black is definitely not living, red's definitely not living, and, like, yellow mirror match is definitely not living. Granted, this combo is less good if you're going first and your opponent has the energy marker, but it's still just ridiculous. Like, it's just crazy. Like, the amount of times, like, as well, like, Purunga, even if I'm not using it to win the game, using the ability to draw 3 cards and make your opponent pitch 3 cards is just a massive game swing. So, yeah. This card's... If we didn't get Purunga and Bardock, I think this deck would not be as good, but we did, so that we're playing the deck still. Lastly, we'll quickly go over the Z slots. I'll start off with my least favorite card in the deck. I'm cutting this card. I never went into it once. I wanted to use it to specifically blank a Unison, and it just never came up. I don't like this at all. I'll change it for something else. 1 Omen of Comeback. 1 was fine. I didn't go into it that often, but when it came up, the 5 leader was nice. I wish I could play more of this card, but unfortunately got limited to 1, so it is what it is. This Goku, I love this card. Like, the fact that you can make your leader for 1 Z energy and 1 regular energy, play this, and this card, it pumps a Goku 10,000 in critical on offense or 10,000 on defense. It's huge. I did used to, before we got before I used to use this skill a lot to remove a skillless card at the end of the turn. Not as relevant now because this card I like to combo this card with Yellow Sin to blank something, then remove it on their turn, specifically Gogeta Secret Rare. But I didn't find myself using this as much as I did use the active battle crit skill. But yeah, the fact that like the most broken combo you can do in this deck, in my opinion, is you play Doro for 1. And then, this is like, assume you're going first as turn 2. You play the Doro for 1, you play this, right? Then you pump your Doro 5k because it's a Goku on play. Then you swing with the Doro, then you pump in another 10k and combo 2 cards. On turn, like, 2, you're swinging 45k double strike into your opponent's leader. Double strike critical, sorry. So it's like, yeah, I remember one game, shout out to Simo at Locals, I did that to him and he couldn't clear my Doro, so I did it to him the next turn as well. I literally critted half his life and that's depressing. Lastly, we've got the 2 Z Unisons here. We've got Turles here. You can ignore all this text here because none of this actually works in the deck. And then you can actually read this. Active main +0, gain 10,000 power. Basically, we finally have a way for the Z deck to just generate a body and swing with it. It's just in this deck, it's a 1 energy 15k attacker. It's nice. It comes up sometimes, but it's not the end of the world. But it's just good. It's good to have the option there. I did enjoy this as a one-of. And then we've got 2 of the Z Goku here. Card acts as a board wipe if you play it for 4 energy, KO all your opponent's cards in rest mode. It also acts as a finisher from the Z deck, as if you, again, you'd have to play it with 4 markers, but you can do this active battle -3 against 10,000 power and double strike, so it's a way to close out the game from your Z deck, which you didn't have the option before, but now you have the option, so that's already really good. And then lastly, it's got this auto +0, you just blank the skills of a card. Very relevant. I enjoyed against Green Gohan. If I didn't have Mutaido in my hand, I'd just play this, and I was going first as well, keep in mind. I'd play this on my turn 2, so if they wanted to swing with the crit Vegeta, I would just simply blanket skills so I wouldn't take the crit damage, and that felt very nice. So I did, yeah, I did enjoy that a lot. Quick run through on my side deck, Future Gohan and Mutaido, literally just hate for Gohan. Mutaido actually came up against Black, I sided this in against SS4 Vegito, so I can have just some more ways to stop that card. Trunks and Gohan. These cards, very phenomenal. Didn't play them all, but hey, Cooler's a deck. Cooler Mill's a deck, you gotta play Unisons on your side. Great 8 Baby, the 3rd copy. This one's going to the main, Vegeta's coming to the side, and I'll change my side deck most likely. 2 Chi-Chi, this is for Blue. Yeah, Blue's kind of difficult for this deck to beat. Because Blue just drags the game on for 1,000 years, so Chi-Chi's just nice as well. And then Golden Frieza, this is again a card I wanted to play for Blue. I think 5 energy is too slow, so I'll most likely change it to something else. But yeah, that's my deck, guys. This is the deck I was able to win the OC regional with on the weekend. U7's still very good. Purunga Secret Rare is very broken, and yeah. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more content from me, I guess, coming soon whenever I play in more events. And until next time, guys, this is John, signing out. Peace.